Hello, my friends. Not just my friends, everyone's friends. Hello, everyone out there in the world. This is Intergalactic Interviews, multiverses, and all things combined. The voice you're hearing right now is that of Jamie McDonald. Some people call me MD. To my immediate right, he's a good friend of mine. Long-time awesome guy, which I think is his current role. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Michael Saavedra. Ooh,
No.
yeah. Ooh, yeah. Okay, and then running our boards today. Did you say no? 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 Okay, this guy right here. All right. I still think you're awesome, despite your current opinion of yourself. Okay, thanks. Appreciate that.
We can keep going.
All right, still running our boards for, I'm going to say, 110th week straight. Guys, just doing awesome, ladies and gentlemen. The one, the only c-mart right here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Solo clap. Okay, there you go.
Don't bother already.
Yeah, these intros are going great. So far, everyone's really interested to hear the rest of them. Now, that being said, okay, let me get you an ad real quick here. This podcast is very, very proudly sponsored by the one, the only Float House. If you go to floathouse.ca right now, you're going to see the premier isolation tank experience in the Lower Mainland. Let's say right now you are in Vancouver. You want to experience something super tranquil, really relaxing. You want something peaceful that you can reflect upon later, maybe even become addicted to. That's how awesome it is. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to do anything crazy out on those streets. You can just come visit one of the many locations in the Lower Mainland of Float House. Just go to floathouse.ca. It's super awesome. We love it. We float. You should float. It's going to be amazing. The thing I like about it the most is you get your own room. You get your own house coat. They give you slippers. It's super relaxing. Everyone here is really, really, really smart, really knowledgeable, and super experienced. So that being said, if you want to try this out yourself, we are offering right now through our sponsors at Float House. If you go ahead and use our podcast promo code I podcast, that's lowercase I podcast, they'll give you 20% off your next float. And go to floathouse.ca right now to check it out. So, if you'll all do me a big favor, we're going to get right into this because our guest today is pretty amazing. She's super busy, so we don't want to waste her time. And she's already been sitting here listening to me do these intros and that ad that I hope you guys all paid attention to.
It's been a bit.
Super interesting. I love it, and she's awesome. Anyway, let's get into this. My guest today, wow, she has many slashes to her name. But right now, we're going to be talking about her next most important priority slash, which is an event she's putting on called the Awaken Man, which is coming up on May 15th in 2016. That's this year, people. You're still capable of getting there. And it's a Sunday. It's awesome. It's the Diamond Ballroom on the 5th floor in Vancouver, British Columbia. Again, that event is called the Awaken Man, and we're sitting here with the lovely, the talented Sonali Perera. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Now, she gets a round of applause. Of course.
Woo!
Absolutely.
Thank
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I wonder if I can ask you just a million questions.
Go ahead.
Let's get into this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So immediately, someone out there just heard me announce the title as the Awakened Man.
That's right.
Okay, break it down for us. What can someone expect for something like this? I'm going to wipe my brow like this is the Deep South. Go ahead.
Okay.
Ma.
Awesome. So the Awakened Man, it's basically, it's going to be a pretty awesome event. What I'm doing is I'm creating a platform to support, empower, and just honor more of the men in our world. And, one of the reasons I'm doing that is because as a female, I'm really, really tapped in and just aware of like how many things that we have, that is resources and channels when it comes to just support and sharing like what we're doing, what we're up to in women's circles, you name it. So I just didn't see a lot of things kind of happening for men. There's a lot of things for men and women.
I'm so blown away by this opinion. I would say that almost the whole world has been set up for men, and then like, you're right though. Most recently, in the last, how many decades can we put this back? How many years can we say that? Like, no, there's been kind of a shift, and now the focus.
There's been a total shift.
Yeah,
it's
how
a planetary
back?
shift.
Where would you peg that time wise? How far back?
Like in terms of when that shift started?
Yeah, that, like in your opinion.
I'd say probably in the last like 3 years, 4 years.
3 years, okay.
4 years.
Walk
Like
me through it.
in terms of a significant shift, like I noticed that in the last year, in 2015, there was a significant shift just that happened on the planet. So the energy is moving. We're moving from like the era of the masculine to the era of the feminine on the entire planet.
What does that mean? The era of the masculine, the era of the feminine. Explain for me.
So
I want you to totally treat me like I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Because we don't.
Because I don't know
Okay.
anything. Yeah. No. Walk us through it. Okay.
Okay. So basically what that means is we're moving from a world that's like that used to be like very male dominated, a very male dominated society, very male dominated world. It was about like conquering and dominating and
total imperialism.
Separation and not a whole lot of community going on. And so we're moving into this era, the era of the feminine. And really what that means is that there's more people are starting to become very community oriented. There's more people that are starting to care about purpose, care about passion, wanting to pursue work and careers that they feel excited about versus just another job.
That's true, yeah.
Right?
It's like a creative kind of push in terms of...
Totally.
Yeah.
There's like the creative class now. It's not just like working class, blue class?
Yeah.
Blue collar, white collar.
Totally.
It's the creative class. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
That I've definitely recognized in the last few years where it's more appropriate now to like, it's almost kind of like hacky hipster material, but you're like, I work part-time as a barista, but I'm also like, I own my own t-shirt company. And they're like, oh, cool, really? And they're like, yeah, it's really limited runs. We do like 1 to 5 shirts,
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, they're 5,000 a piece or something like that. It's like, okay, relax, Scott.
So that's cool.
Like that, yeah.
It's like, so you just see more people that are stepping into that field, into that energy. And so, one of the things about that is, in terms of community and sharing. So women are just by nature, we're very oriented when it comes to like community. We're like very nurturing. We like to gather. We like to talk. We like to share. So there's a few things in this, I think where people are shifting into on a conscious basis, like consciously.
Yeah.
That women have a little bit more innate strengths in that area. So one of the signs of this being true and this being very evident is that in the last year there was a significant rise in like female entrepreneurs stepping out on the scenes, female leaders, female like CEOs, politicians, you name it. Like you notice it even on social media. There's a lot
very prevalent. Yeah.
Yeah, very prevalent.
This is like the first cabinet ever in Canadian history to have equal gender representation.
I know. I think that's so awesome.
Very first one. That's pretty cool. And then Trudeau had that big mic drop moment where he said, "They're like when he was asked like why he did it, he's like because it's 2015."
Exactly. That was the perfect answer. That was the perfect answer.
He meant it too, which is kind of fun. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah. So
awesome.
So let me ask this.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's someone out there right now that's like, it's like, okay, so why men though? Why not women? Why not that? Because like. I'll be honest. One of my first thoughts when I heard about this was like, okay, so a woman wants to empower men. Okay, so I was trying to think. I was like, what if I wanted to empower women? How would that? That'd
be great.
Would it?
Absolutely.
See, do me personally, not the idea of me, but just like, do I personally have the capabilities to do that? Like, do I have?
Of course you do.
Like, you wouldn't feel weird hearing from me as a man, like. Telling you like, hey, listen, you want to be feminine, all right? You want like I don't have any idea of that. And the thing is, when I hear about your event, I am actually like, okay, I'm actually intrigued. I'm like, okay, tell me how to be empowered. I want to hear that.
Sure.
When I think about, that's why I think it's cool. Is just because it doesn't really work for me on the other end. Like I can't tell a woman how to be empowered. Almost the idea of it is actually rallying against everything we just discussed, right? Because like that first thing we just said, like. The imperialism of it, I'd be like, listen, ladies, you're gonna want to be, a little more ladylike, that kind of thing, or something like that. Like it just sounds so awful coming from a man,
Right.
What is what is it that initially got you into wanting to do this? What is the inspiration? Why men? Why do you want to do that?
Yeah. So, so one of the things that I just noticed was, just in my personal community. I just noticed that, there's a lot of guys that, when it comes to things that women struggle with and things that men struggle with. For women, when we have anything that we struggle with, we're very like, we talk, we have like girlfriends, we share, we go to circles, there's like workshops, you name it. There's lots of channels we can, that we can receive support to navigate through that stuff.
Right, yeah.
And so for men, I noticed that, I noticed in my dad, I've noticed it in men that I've been in relationships with, in men that are like I'm close to in my community, that it's a very inner struggle. So when they are dealing with stuff that's emotional or tough or challenging, it's different. They're not like women where they will sometimes run to a guy and start sharing it. Majority will often like suppress it and keep it in, and they don't talk, and a lot of that is because at a very young age they're programmed at a young age that it's not okay to show emotion, to be vulnerable, you're weak, you're a girl, you're gay, if you do. And so what this does is the way it affects them, that kind of stuff stays with them as they get older, and the way that affects them when it comes to creating authentic relationships, connecting with people on an authentic level, the way it affects them in terms of speaking their truth, sharing their dreams, sharing what they're passionate about, communicating their emotions when it comes to love. They either like vomit it all, or they like sketch it like this.
They totally vomit it all, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there's no like experience to like let that go in a way that is healthy and also empowering. And so, yeah, I'm not doing this to change anyone. I'm doing this, because I notice there's a gap. I notice there's a gap between men and men, and I notice there's a gap between men and women. And so I'm simply stepping up to the table because somebody has to.
Okay, I'm already getting super inspired. Okay.
Like somebody has to, and it's like I'm not a speaker, right? Like I'm not on there and like saying, "Hey, you guys, this is what you got to do." No, that's not my role at all. My role is simply to create a platform and a space where I can bring in other men, where I can bring in men that are just absolutely great examples of healthy, masculine, awakened men. Like I think Andy and Mike are great examples of that.
The Zaremba brothers.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Totally.
Friends of the show. Basically the purveyors of the show is really what it is, yeah.
Totally.
We love those guys. Actually, that's how we got in touch with each other. It was right after that episode came out, wasn't it? I think that's what it was, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like for me, I just want to know, who are the examples in your life that kind of led to this point? Like, do you have strong family members, like male family members?
I didn't really have any, to be honest.
Okay.
So that was lacking in my life too, in my world. Like my dad passed away when I was 10. My brother wasn't like the very protective kind of brother. He was like kind of off doing his own thing. And so I think as a result, like I lack that too. I grew up when I was younger kind of as a tomboy. So I was always around masculine energy, and that was something that I just gravitated to in a sense. So I have a bit of a masculine energy core, especially when I'm in work mode. Like,
do you identify more then with that side?
I do on an energetic level when I'm just not in work mode, I'm just relaxed, and you really can see my feminine energy come out. You can see it like just be playful and like quirky and funny and and all that stuff. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the speakers that are on this show.
Cool.
Is there like it's like how many speakers? There's 5, 6?
There's going to be 5 speakers.
5? Okay.
Yeah.
And is there like, is it like a main event, or is it like 5 co-main events? Like how does it work?
It's going to be 5 really strong, powerful speakers, each of them that are highly influential in the community and have their own communities behind them.
I just realized I'm treating this like an MMA card. Like it's like the most masculine thing. I'm just like, okay, so like who's the main event? Who's in the preliminaries? Yeah, I just want to know that. Anyway. All right,
love it. It's
my
all good.
uneducated guess. Okay,
It's all
so please continue, please.
Okay. We have, so it's going to be 5 speakers, it's going to be 5 topics. So we have leadership, which Darren Jacklin is coming in to do that. And Darren is just this awesome friggin' guy. He's trained 150 Fortune 500 companies when it comes to leadership and success. So he does like corporate trainings and that sort of thing. And then we have Suki Merker, who is an award-winning doctor, also author of a best-selling book called Heal Your Body, Heal Your Mind.
Wow. Okay. So is he like what kind of doctor?
He's a chiropractic doctor,
Okay.
but he is a fusion of that and like an energy healer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's pause.
So he's
again.
working on your chakras while he's like.
So he's like
doing
going
an
through
adjustment.
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
think
I've heard great, like amazing stuff about him. So
I'd like to know more about him. And he's going to be speaking.
he's going to be speaking. Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen him speak before?
I've seen videos of him speak, and I've just talked to him, personally myself.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I really like about him is I love the fact that when he speaks, you can tell like he's really speaking from his heart. Like he's very humble, and he's got a lot of wisdom and knowledge behind him, and it just comes out just when he's just like speaking to you.
The sincerity behind
Oh
it.
yeah.
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 That's cool when
With
you're
confidence,
Yeah,
too.
when you're connecting with an intellectual like that, it makes it a lot, I don't know, easier to kind of focus on what they're saying.
Totally.
Some people are super intellectual, but then they drone on and
Yeah.
on, and if you would know,
And it's really tough to listen.
I gotta think, but if he's very passionate, it's very
Yeah.
easy to get behind it. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So that's two or three.
That's
two
two.
of five.
Yeah, 2 to 5.
Sorry, I meant 3 remaining. Okay, please continue.
Okay, so third one is we have Nima Rahamni. And so Nima Rahamni, he's the creator and founder of the Overview Method. And so basically what that is, it's like this method where he can take people, men and women, so both, but he takes people, like if you have a traumatic event that's happened to you in life, which we like almost all do. But if you've had something like that, like, when you were young, between your mom, between your dad, from a separation that you haven't fully gotten over, or maybe you lost someone that was really dear to you, and there's something about that story and the energy that's still with you. And so what he does is he takes people through a process, like a step-by-step process. It's not like days to do. It seems fairly quick, but he takes you through it, and he just from my experience of it, he'll get you to find something that you can be grateful about that event. And he'll get you to go back and forth. What's something that's negative? What's something that you're grateful about? So if you lost someone, for example, think of something that you are grateful about. Think of something that's good that came out of that. And often we focus on the negative things, and
Right.
that's what creates that traumatic charge.
Yeah.
And that's what creates the pain in our body even.
Well, yeah, it seems like he's reshaping the memory and the event, right?
Completely reshaping it on a cellular, energetic level.
Right, because it's pulling up the roots of like how negative it was. Like, this person is no longer with us. How do I cope without them? Whereas it's like, no, this person maybe provided you the experiences you need in order to move forward and have the ability to do so. And that's pretty cool. I like that idea.
Yeah.
It seems
It's
like when
really
you
cool.
say it out loud, it's like, yeah, it seems pretty simple. Like that seems like everyone should do that. But sometimes the common sense stuff is really, nope, you need someone
We
to like sit
hardly
you
ever
down.
think of stuff we're grateful for,
Hardly, yeah.
when stuff hits the fan,
That's the hardest
Yeah.
stuff to grasp. It's really
Yeah.
the hardest stuff to
Completely.
grasp, definitely.
Yeah,
That was 4. 3?
that was
That was 3?
3. Yeah.
Okay, who is our fourth speaker?
Okay, fourth speaker is Chris Fletcher. And Chris Fletcher, he is he's the founder of Half Moon Haven, which is a retreat center. And so he actually works with men's groups. So he works with men's groups, and he also works with families. And he has men's groups that he takes them out to the wild and to nature. They do like kayaking. They do all sorts of cool like fun adventure trips. And but he's a really heart-based kind of guy. Like when you
Wow,
talk to
okay.
him, his energy's so just relaxed and
How large are these groups that go out there?
I don't know.
Like a dozen?
Possibly.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That sounds really cool. He's going to be giving away a gift for 2 to like stay at his retreat, complimentary. It's going to be one of the prizes we'll be giving away at the event.
Wow, okay.
Very cool.
Cool. And
Yeah.
last but not least, who is the fifth
Oh.
speaker?
Drum roll. We have Satyen Raja. So Satyen, he's actually been on the Vancouver Real podcast.
Friend of the show. Okay.
Yeah, friend of the show. Right?
All right.
Get that in there again. No big deal.
Yeah.
He's great. He's the founder of Warrior Sage, and he's also one of the ex-facilitators of Enlightened Warrior for Millionaire Minds.
Wow.
Which is one of their best courses.
I'm already like super intrigued, but okay, like please.
Yeah.
Like, he's
phenomenal. So he's facilitated that, like Enlightened Warrior. He also was one of I think Harv Ecker's business consultants. He was consulting him when he came to business and that sort of thing. He has a program now called Sex, Money, and Power.
Okay.
And
this guy has a lot of good points.
So you can tell those things are charged, right?
Yeah.
Each of those things are charges. You can feel it in your body when you like hear it: sex, money, and power. And so he works with like very like high end clients. And he's just a great speaker. He's very powerful. He's one of those guys that kind of embody the warrior essence of a man. And so he really brings that to the stage, and he really calls that out, calls that forward from people.
Wow.
So
that's kind of cool. I like the idea.
Yeah,
of
it's
that.
super interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He says,
Yeah.
It says here on the Awaken Man 2016 website, sexuality and relationships unlock your creative power. For men, you will embody masculine presence that makes you not only a master of your, quote, sexual power on tap, unquote, but a natural leader among men. All right. Kind of interested in this.
Beautiful. I'm in.
All right, I'm in. This guy has got some points.
Well, all right.
Yeah, this guy's got some good points. Let's just take a listen to him.
Where do I sign?
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I think that's going to be a cool lineup. I think, honestly.
It's a very diverse lineup as well.
It is, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of different in every speaker, it sounds like.
And you booked all these people individually?
I honestly, the way I got all of them, well, Satyan is a friend of mine. So we became friends before the whole idea of the Awaken Man even like manifested itself. But what I did was I just put a post on Facebook, and this was I think in January, in December. And I just said, hey, I'm looking for speakers for an upcoming event called the Awaken Man. These are going to be the topics. So leadership, communication, emotions, sexuality. And so like I had a whole whack of speakers that just applied, men and women, and then I just interviewed a whole bunch of them, and I simply narrowed it down to who I felt were the strongest speakers in terms of presence.
Wow.
And were the strongest speakers in terms of like when they step on a stage, they knew exactly what they were doing. They could command an audience, they could command a stage, but not just in a commanding way, but in a sense where they were very tuned in and tapped into who they are and what they're there to share.
Yeah.
What they're there, like the value they're there to give. Because at the end of the day, it's about service. It's what can you give to other people? What can you share that can raise that vibe and raise that energy up and create transformation, even if it's on a level of awareness.
That's beautiful. And all these people are Sonali certified, right?
There you go.
100%. Boom. That's awesome. Okay, sweet. Earlier we were speaking about being grateful for things.
Nice.
What's the most recent thing you're grateful for?
I am grateful, honestly, like, for this whole journey, like that this Awakened Man has taken me on.
How long has it taken from inception to now?
Yeah, it literally manifested itself in the form of a thought, like for the very first time at the end of November.
Wow.
And that just came from a conversation I was having with a guy friend of mine that, would share with me that I'd be like, hey, what are you up to? What are you doing? And he'd be like, I'm just kind of trying to practice stepping into my power and, for my masculine energy. And he was reading a lot of David Data books. And I was like, huh. And I noticed that was coming up a lot. And I noticed it was coming up for other guys and just in different ways. And, but that's when it first manifested itself. And it hasn't been very long. And
so that's only like from today, that's only like 7, 8 months, right? That's not too bad. Wow, that's like pretty crazy turnaround to book something of this level. That's pretty
Totally.
wild. Wow.
Definitely.
Totally.
That's super cool. Yeah.
This is my first time, like, kind of putting something like this together.
Mike's gonna go buy a ticket right now.
Nice, perfect.
Look at this.
Good job, Mike.
Smart move,
Love it.
Mike. Smart move.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I just want to ask you a million questions.
Go ahead.
Okay, like,
Yeah. Do it.
Okay.
I feel like I
first
have so much to share, so I'm
well,
like, yeah.
let's just go like real basic. Like, where are you from?
I'm born and raised in Toronto. My mom's from Peru and my dad's Sri Lankan. So I'm a mix of Spanish and Sri Lankan.
Oh yeah.
And I no hablo español, like un poquito. So
Oh Jesus.
I don't speak Spanish, but I make up by dancing salsa and merengue. So
Okay. All right.
you know, I do that.
I like that. That's
And yeah, and I don't speak any Sri Lankan either. Like I'm a total gringa. And it's like totally.
Is that what the word is?
Oh
Gringo?
yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
Serious coconut.
Coke. Very well. Okay,
Very, oh yeah, I accept it.
That's awesome.
Embrace it.
So how long were you in Toronto? When did you come out to Vancouver?
I moved out of Toronto when I was like 19, 20. And then I initially moved to Victoria, and so I stayed there for like a few years. And then after Victoria, I ended up moving to LA, and I lived in LA for a bit.
Wow. Whereabouts in LA did you live?
Santa Monica.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy your time down there?
I did. It was awesome. I went to Santa Monica College, so I went to school there.
Wow, you were like right in the thick of it.
Oh,
Wow.
so good.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah, LA's kind of a weird vibe though, right? Like sometimes there's like
It's yeah. If you've never been there before, and especially if you're gonna move there, it's a mix, right? So,
Yeah.
I feel like LA is cool but it's got all these subcultures. So you have like the Hollywood culture, and then you have like the Santa Monica culture, and then you have like the Hermosa Beach culture, which is also very different. You know?
how are those two beaches different?
I love Hermosa Beach. Like, it's my favorite place because it's literally you go there and you'll see like guys, ladies, like just rollerblading, bikinis on the beach cruising, margaritas, like patios, you name it. It's like so cool.
So it looks like an 80s movie, is what we're saying.
Totally. Oh, I swear to God.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And then Santa Monica is like really artistic. So you go like there on like the boardwalk and you see like people selling art and, you know, and jewelry.
Sketching.
And
Possibly
and,
doodling.
Yeah, doodling and like performing and music. And
Wow.
so it's a little bit more eclectic. It's
That's
got that more
cool.
eclectic feel.
That's cool.
Yeah.
When was the last time you were down there?
Probably a year ago.
A year ago?
Yeah.
Wow, so you're still like in contact with everyone down there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got a whole like whack of friends
that's
down
cool.
there in LA. So yeah, it's like a second home.
This event you're putting on, the Awaken, man. It's part of a network, isn't it? Isn't it part? Did I read this right?
Yeah, it's basically so.
You looked at me like, what?
I'm like, what?
Yeah. I'm like,
no, it
I'm
isn't.
like, Sonali.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
No,
Next
it isn't.
question.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I just want to make sure it wasn't.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, no, but what it's doing, it's like it's creating a community. So what I want to do is like I want to like, because I interviewed a few people like downtown. Oh, sorry,
That's okay.
downtown Vancouver.
I'm just gonna push this mic to you.
It was
'cause-
like,
yeah, I don't want to knock your teeth out with the mic. That's not good.
like,
Yeah. Boom. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
So yeah, no, because I went out with like just a film crew and we just hit the streets of downtown Vancouver like just maybe a week ago, and I wanted to interview like men and women and get some honest and just raw feedback around what are some ways they feel we could better support the men in our world. And also get just honest feedback from men themselves and really hear from them. What are some things that they kind of struggle with that they feel they would love to get support from men, and how would they like to feel more supported from women? What does that look like?
Like what were some of the responses?
I got some great responses.
What were the guys saying? That's what I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like what does a guy say?
So there was this, there was this one share. There was these two guys. They were like East Indian, and it was one of the most powerful shares that I had personally experienced from that whole thing, and it was just so touching because of how honest they were, and how like they weren't holding anything back. And so they were basically saying, they're like, when women, when stuff happens, if there's like abuse, whether it's like physical, emotional, or sexual on any of that level, they have a lot of support that's available for them to talk about it, to share, to
Yeah, like these
go through
different
it.
avenues and outlets, right?
Totally. And so what he was saying, he's like, when men go through that, he's like, we don't have that support. He was saying, he's like, if there's abuse, if it's emotional, he's like, we're just expected to just get over it. We're expected to just be strong. We're expected to just like figure it out. And he was saying, he's like, we need to have like a system in place where, men can be supported too. And so he was saying, he's like, I'd like to see more men be able to hold space for each other and be able to, support each other and, listen to each other if you're going through something that's, depressing or anxiety or something you're struggling with, even emotionally, if you're separating from a relationship.
So like by hold space, you mean like make room in your life, like in your friendship circle?
Well, to
Am I
have
reading that
men
right?
like be able to hear you out and like not judge it.
Oh, okay.
And not like, say, oh, that's weak, or you're like you're a girl, So
Yeah,
have
that's
more
crazy.
men like just be real and open and accept that, men have like feelings too and emotions too. That's literally coming exactly verbatim from what the guy said.
Oh,
And these
yeah.
were just like two random guys you found.
Two
on
random
the-
guys. And totally in their
interesting.
masculine
It's
too.
very interesting.
Totally in their masculine.
That's
like,
interesting. Because just off the top of my head, like,
Yeah.
like I wonder, like, okay, how many people were like, like they need any help? How many people were like that? I'm sure, was that common? Did some
no,
no one said that?
no.
You probably didn't ask me. That's why.
But I think it was also the question I was asking. It might have been that.
Yeah.
I think I was saying, like, what are some ways you feel men could better support other men? And what are some ways do you feel like women could better support the men in the world? And so I was asking a really specific question and around that. And so, and when it came to the women, like there was one guy that was saying, he's like, sometimes we don't talk, sometimes we don't share, and sometimes we just bottle it up and we like explode. And I think it's also an invitation for women to hold space in the sense, like to not judge when men don't talk, when men don't share, and to be able to hold space for that.
Yeah.
And in a way that is healthy and in a way that also empowers a deeper connection and a deeper relationship there.
Yeah, you know what you just said there resonates with me big time. Because I have I never shut up for the most part. So when I'm quiet, it's like super noticeable, and it's like, it always like, what's wrong? What's going on? What's happening? Is everything okay? And like, and that's like friends,
Awesome.
My fiance, whoever, they're always just like, what's going on? What's happening? Right.
Yeah.
I have
So it's like very noticeable.
very no,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
So for me, I'm like, it would be great if I had like an environment that
Totally.
supported that, where it's like, hey, you know
Absolutely.
what? I actually just don't want to chat right now. I'm actually working this out, this part. It takes all my brain power just to hold it all together, and I just need a minute, that kind of thing. And that minute
Totally.
is not actually a minute. That's it,
Absolutely.
But it's often perceived as anger, though, or
avoidance,
avoidance,
or
yeah, totally.
suppression.
To be fair, some of the time,
yeah. I mean, to be fair, yes, I
Could be avoiding.
yeah. I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Nah,
but
like,
you're also programmed to
That's true.
on
Yeah.
some subconscious level to be like, that's just what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to like not, in order to deal with that, I better just distract myself and look over there now.
yeah.
Or think about that now. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the healthiest way of processing that. That actually stuff that still stays there, and it's still with us. And until there's another event that simply triggers that old memory, that old emotion, that old experience to kind of come back up, and then we start to see our shadow. We start to see your shadows. We start to see your stuff that we haven't really fully processed yet, released yet, or let go yet, or even had an opportunity to discuss in a way where we feel we're not going to be judged. At the end of the day, we don't mind discussing it, right? People,
Yeah.
I think women, men don't mind discussing it. The only issue is a fear of being judged, a fear of being ridiculed or not accepted and understood fully.
Like, I'm actually feeling this right now. Like,
Awesome.
like I feel like I want to say, I feel weird even saying this right now because like
Yeah.
I'm in front of some guys here that are my friends, and I feel weird saying this, but like I have all the strong male role models in my life. Okay.
Yeah.
All of them, I consider all of them much harder workers than I am. Now, whether that's like accurate or not, I have no idea. But in my opinion, I think they're all harder workers than I am. So for some level, somewhere, I'm programmed on some deep conditioning to like, that's the overall, that's the number one piece of criteria you can meet is like if you're hardworking, if you put up with more than anyone else. And that's like a weird male
And that's just
trait.
another program.
Isn't that weird though? But that's weird. Like if
Yeah.
you can put up with more than anyone else, that makes you the best
That
man.
means you're
Yeah.
strong. So
Yeah.
strength means being able to put up with to carry. How much can you carry on your
just
shoulders?
Negativity, just so much like
How much can
decaying
you
thought. Yeah.
Deflect.
Yeah. How much can you deflect?
How much can you deflect? And then that means you must be
Yeah.
really strong.
Because you don't have to go too far back
No.
into like people's generations, like maybe one generation to be like my grandfather works so hard every day in a steel mill, and you're just like, God damn! It's like, what do you do right now? Well, it's like, I make music and podcast with my friends, and we all hang out. It's like, really,
Yeah.
really, and it's like, are you a hard worker? Well, I work hard at this. It's like, do you? And I'm like, okay, compared to I don't work hard, and then you feel like so minimal and small. That's in my head, like all the time. Like, oh,
Totally.
man. Yeah.
And I think that comes from one, you really like embracing what you're passionate about. I think, like what I'm doing, like I'm not digging holes and stuff like that, but what I'm doing is a lot of work. I'll be honest. Like I'll just be brutally honest. In the last month, I've experienced everything from like just tears and breakdowns and breakthroughs and everything from learning more about men, learning more about what men need, what men are asking for. And I've seen like my ego come up. I've seen my shadows come up. I've seen my heart, my humbleness come up. I've seen, me bringing my own walls down to really and to let go of the idea that I know anything.
You seem really balanced. What could have sparked your ego to maybe raise its profile like that?
I don't know, like.
Because you're putting all this together, and you don't seem like I put all this together. You know what I mean? Like you seem rather balanced. I'm really curious as to what could make you feel like that.
Definitely for one, I actually in the beginning was avoiding being seen around this.
Oh, like promoting it.
Yeah. Because I didn't want to take the spotlight away from the purpose of it and from the intention of it.
Yeah.
And at first, I'll be honest, I was actually worried about telling people that it's me that's the creator, and because of the fact I was worried that people would judge it that I'm a female. Right?
I hate to throw it back to that, but yeah, my first point was like, okay,
totally.
Yeah, here we go.
Of course, and that was like something I was very present to. And then I just had a lot of friends that saying, "What are you doing? Like, be honest, be authentic, be real, right?
You're all those things, yeah.
Share what you're doing." And I was like, okay, well, I don't want it to seem like this is about me, and that's why I was avoiding it in the beginning. But at the end of the day, I think. When I go deeper into it, because that's still surface level talk, I think when I go deeper, I was actually, in some level, maybe afraid of being fully seen, and taking full credit, and maybe there was something around that made me feel uncomfortable. Because what this is about and what's going to be coming after it and what's going to come after that, it's going to be the awakened man, the awakened woman, the awakened kids. It's going to be going on tour into Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto, LA, San Diego.
What?
And so, at the end of the day, this is what's happening is for something that's way greater than myself, way bigger than me. And I try to sit in that as much as I can. But there are moments, when I've noticed my ego come out when it comes up. Because there's a lot of this stuff that's happening, everything from putting an event together like this to booking radio interviews and TV interviews and, and being in magazines. A lot of this stuff is happening for the very first time.
Like, and you've never experienced any of that before?
Not like on this level.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Not on this level. So I feel like there's so much that's happening so fast where that's where like the overwhelm kind of happens
Yeah.
for me, and where like tears happen. And because I am managing, leading, directing, and I'm also the action person to get it done.
Yeah. And you know what? Like what you're describing, I mean, like oftentimes in entertainment, in any form, in any fashion, the person who has to put it all together tends to either really shy away from it or really thrust themselves into the front of it. And like I feel from what you're describing, it's almost like you have to have like a bit of the look at me disease, a little bit. You have
A
to.
little bit,
You
yeah.
have to.
So
It's
I'm learning to
suppressing
embody
it.
a bit of that,
Yeah.
because my friends are like, you need to do a video and you need to tell people like why
Yeah.
you're doing this event.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
And I'm like, and I don't know why, for some reason I've been delaying that. Like, I'm like, I just got all these other things to do. But it's true. I'm thinking about doing one this week and just like, just releasing it, putting on Facebook, and just sharing like my why, and just being super just real and authentic
Sharing
about it.
your why.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Zaremba brothers,
Surrender.
when we had them on the show, we were talking a little bit about this too, about how Andy was telling us how with Vancouver Reel, he was really at first had a hard time even accepting, like putting it up on his like social media, like his personal social media. He didn't want people to like, I'm sorry to inundate you with all this stuff. And
Yeah.
he had a great point about that. He's like, well, no, I finally just realized, I'm like, well, it has to start like somewhere.
Yeah.
Where's it going to start?
Yeah.
That turning over. I mean, like, it may seem like maybe I'm like, oh, I know I have to put all this at the forefront, but it's hard. It's hard to like gauge what you feel people are expecting of you.
Right. How much
Versus-
you should show yourself.
Yeah,
And
'cause,
how
like-
much you should show like what you're creating.
Yeah. Because I guess at the end of the day,
how do you,
yeah,
what ratio is that?
exactly. Well, what's the percentage? What's the correct ratio of that? Because like at the end of the day, no one's asking me to do this show with these guys. no one said like,
Right.
Jamie, you have to do a show with Michael and Chris, and if it's not good, we're coming for you or something. Like no one said that. Just like no one said, Sonali, we want you to host a series of events and panel discussions and things like that. We want you to do this, and if you don't do it, my God, like no one's threatening you to do it. So what is that motivating factor behind it? It's like, well, it's like you said, it's like I'm stepping up to the table. No one else was doing it.
No one else is doing it, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's cool. Like there's a lot of women events, like women only events. There's a lot of like men. There's not a lot. There's men events. And
There's a few, but
there's
not,
a few,
but not like
there's not a lot. But
maybe not on the scale that you're talking here. Like this is a huge event, right? Like this is
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
And so I'm like coming in to be the catalyst, to be that female that says, look, I can see that there's something that's creating separation between men and other men.
Yeah.
Not all men, but there is, that's very present and you can see it. And there is a separation that's creating separation between men and women. And so I'm simply just stepping up and be like, okay, I see it. I see that that no one else is stepping up to do it. So I'm basically going to create a platform and create a space that's safe, that's authentic, that's loving, that's inviting, but also that simply bridges the gap between men and other men, but also bridges the gap between men and women. And at the end of the day, what I'm doing is I'm simply just bringing humanity together.
Yeah. See, and it's hard to hate on that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way you can.
Yeah.
It's just like,
At the end of the
all the time
day,
we have.
that's really what it boils down
what
to.
What are you talking about?
Just bringing humanity together and creating a platform, creating a space to bring more people together, and to also, feel supported, feel, accepted, wanted, embraced, honored, supported, empowered. Not because there's anything wrong, but because like there are gaps that we need to start bridging together.
Yeah.
And the more someone or people like come and step up and start just doing it, and it's not a matter of like, oh yeah, look at me. No, it's like Let's bridge these gaps. Let's do something that can really support, men creating more of a brotherhood with each other, that where they can have an authentic dialogue, where they share how they feel, they can share what's going on, they can be real with each other. They don't need to they don't need to feel like they have to put on mask after mask after mask and filter what they say and filter, all that stuff. Let's really break those paradigms apart. Let's shatter that to the ground. Let's dissolve them, and let's start bridging the gap between men and women, and also inviting women to also understand how to hold space, for men in a way that's healthy and empowers those relationships. And invite men, when the Awaken Women event is coming on, I'll invite men to even help me put that on, and I will share that publicly, because it's what I'm doing is I'm showing just examples of what it looks like to be someone and to be part of a group of people that are simply bridging the gap for humanity.
You should speak at that event. You should speak at this event.
It's so funny. People always say that when they actually
really
hear me
good.
speak.
Yeah.
And then I oh no,
Wow. Because if you certify someone and you're like, I find them interesting. I'm like, God damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's check them out. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to prove your point right now about how much
Okay.
work has to be done. Are you
Sure.
ready? I'm going to ask this. I may seem like I'm joking. Saavedra. Might seem like I'm joking. But
Okay.
Saavedra, when was the last time you felt honored? Truly honored? When was the last time? Because when you said that, Sonali, I was like, started thinking in my own head.
Thinking
I'm like-
about it.
I was like,
Yeah.
when was the last time I felt honored? And I wanted to know what Mike had to say. So when was the last time you felt?
I honestly can't even think of the last time. Honestly,
Like,
can't
yeah,
even
no
can't
joking,
even
right?
think.
I know it sounds like a joke, but I'm
Yeah.
honestly asking. Do you know c-mart? What was the last time you felt truly honored? Truly, a little shoulder shrug, little don't
It's
know.
good.
Okay,
Moving on.
That's the most we can get from c-mart. Just so you know, that's fine.
Yeah, no, it's weird to even think about feeling honored, in a way. I'm not
It's
even
very-
sure
yeah.
what that feeling
what does
is.
that look like?
What
What does that-
how does
yeah.
that supposed to feel to me? Was it is it an award that I'm supposed to get? But even that, do you really feel honored when you get an award?
does your,
do you truly feel
yeah.
that you're oh, nailed it? No, there's-
does your spine stiffen
and
up?
I
Do you
just
have,
I don't even understand what that
straight back.
feeling would
I
be.
think that an award isn't it. It's the award in feeling honored comes from feeling connected, feeling authentically, deeply, and honestly connected to other men, to people, to women, to your friends, to people in your life you feel like you can be really open about and be like, yeah, my ego was coming up today. Yeah, I was, being jealous. I was showing up in this way, and this wasn't serving my work. This wasn't serving my relationship. And, and I think I need support because I notice I keep struggling with this. Being able to have those kind of conversations with other men, with women, being able to feel comfortable, being able to feel safe to have that kind of dialogue. It's in those conversations, and it's in that kind of dialogue. It's in that experience that is the most transforming, because it's only when you can challenge yourself to share something that makes you feel really vulnerable, that makes you feel nervous, that makes you almost shake at the idea of getting close to saying it. It's when you push yourself past that threshold that you begin to experience transformation, one, in yourself, but also in your own humanity.
Jesus Christ. I seriously, at the very beginning of this, I was like, yes. And now I'm kind of at the point where I'm hanging off every word you're saying. I'm like, all right, fuck, this is super.
Well,
yes.
I mean, to be fair, you
Yeah.
and me seem to have that kind of relationship. That's
I've
that's
known-
always been
Yeah, Mike and I have
our
known each other.
relationship, I guess. Outside of here, outside of this, outside
Yeah.
of anything. Jamie is one of my best friends, and he always will be.
Beautiful.
So but I feel very comfortable sharing pretty much anything in my life with Jamie, and he does the same.
That's
He
so
does the
good.
same back.
Yeah, and he's been my one of my best friends out here for about 11 years.
We're coming up to 11.
Coming to 11.
Wow.
Yeah, and
That's
for
great.
Me, for me, that's one of my longest friendships. I mean, some people are friends with people that are back in high school or whatever like that, but if you don't if you stay in one place, yeah, cool. But like if you move around the country, then that's, it's not likely you'll keep those friendships as tight as they were. So yeah, like Saavedra's like, yeah, he's always been a fucking super dependable guy. Actually, he's super cool. You know what's weird is like having Sonali in the room. Okay, I have to comment on this right now.
Go ahead.
Having you in the room, facilitating even just casually Mike and I talking about this, somehow, I don't know how this works, but dynamic-wise, it totally makes it somehow more functional and normal for me to talk about it with Mike. Having a female presence makes that cool. Because if it was just the three of us right now, it would be weird. Like I would actually feel on an entertainment level, I'd be like,
somebody would make a joke.
yeah,
and that's like deflecting.
Yeah, big time.
That's just deflecting.
Like that comes from so
and
many
it's very
decades.
automatic. It's like you don't even think about it,
Yeah.
and so you don't think you're deflecting because it's so subconsciously ingrained that you're like, oh, you're emotional.
Like it's
know?
like more entertaining in my head for us to like bag on each other, like if you joke about each other, somehow that's safer. Like that, there's
it
no
feels
risk.
safer.
Yeah, there's
Exactly.
no risk except for your friend's feelings. It's like you don't risk anything; you risk the other person's emotions.
You avoid that shaky
my
feeling
God.
that happens in your chest when
I'm
you're about to
experiencing
share something.
I'm experiencing a mini breakthrough here right now. I'm
Yeah.
actually starting to feel, weird new levels of friendship with Mike. Starting to understand things a little bit more.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Isn't that funny though? How having a female presence in the dynamic completely.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's
totally.
funny? My fiance, like a few weeks back, we had a great photographer on, and her name's Paige Sierra. She's super cool, really awesome, super great entrepreneurial spirit, really rad. But we had her on, and I think she was the first female we had in this setup since we've been at Float House. And my fiance commented when I was editing that, she's like, "You sound different. Like you don't sound like." I'm sure I probably sound like it right now. Whatever it is when I speak with females.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there is something about the female energy that will shift masculine energy in the room.
Totally,
just
right?
Being simple. But I also believe that this is something that happens between men and women, men and men, and women and men, and women and women, because we all have masculine and feminine energy. So I notice that if I'm around a man that has more feminine energy, it actually puts me more in my masculine.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Totally.
So it displaces what you are essentially.
Well, no,
what they are. They displace into your.
If there any time that there's masculine and feminine energy is always shifting and changing between people. So if you have a more masculine core, that's going to be the more dominant energy. If you have a feminine core, then that's going to be your dominant energy. So for me, like I have a little bit more of. When I'm working that stuff, I have more of like a masculine core because I'm really like grounded. I'm strong. I can share what I'm talking about and be really straight and and like kind of to the point. But I notice that if I'm around, say, a really masculine energy, it actually puts me into my feminine. And it's not something I think about. It's something that happens just energetically, just like how your energy is shifting just by me being in the room.
Yeah, big time.
And you're not even thinking about it. It's just something that's happening on its own.
Yeah.
Because it's all energy. Energy has its own level of consciousness, whether you realize it or not. It's shifting by itself, and it's very conscious about what it's doing.
I like metaphysical stuff. Have you read Stuart Wilde? Any of his material? He's the first person I ever read that was like metaphysical, and he always talks about like the force essentially, like like the all-encompassing energy that it's just it's all like serving your higher power essentially. What's your higher self? What is that? Are you working towards that? Are you actually like setting yourself back? Shadows and things like that you're talking about. How do you work through it? And it seems like when he talks about the divinity of male and female and just how having a person who's only influenced by males trying to interact with a female after a long period of time of only engaging with males, it's like learning language, kind of like getting back into it. It's like, okay, but if you have a well-rounded, balanced existence, you tend to have like, I don't know, a better understanding of things, and that maybe that displacement isn't so intense. It was more gradual, I think, rather than I don't know. It's it's strange,
I feel like it's an evolving energy too, because it's like, another one of the reasons I'm also doing, this event is that, you women, there's a lot more women that are, before men were like the providers or the protectors, they were like, like take care of the women. And so now women like provide for themselves, they can protect themselves, they can have babies by themselves, like, and be a single mom and no problem.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's very feasible, and there's comfort that's even available to make that comfortable. So I feel like it kind of confuses some men in terms of like, what is their role now? Like, how do they navigate through this, like this new kind of feminine energy that's really rising, and that then there's just more and more of it rising. And so now men, okay, well, if I'm not the provider and the protector, well, what do I do? So now it's like, okay, well, that's why there is an awakening that's happening. There's an awakening that's happening for both men and women. It's for the entire planet. So as we evolve into these new energies, women are evolving into these new realms and energies where they're becoming stronger, and they knew so much and almost like basically everything for themselves now. And then men are now stepping into this energy. Okay, well, now it's no longer about being this high hyper masculinity. It's about kind of, how do I soften that
and tempering it?
How do I soften that so that I can connect with not just women, but just with people in general on a level that's like, authentic and honest and just real. And we're starting to, again, the old world is moving away from ego. It's moving from the head to the heart. The whole plan is moving from the head to the heart.
I hope so, because global warming is a bitch.
Yeah, I know.
Like, right, it was hot out today, so yeah. Like,
it's global warming, right there.
So like, yeah, it just makes, I don't know, it's crazy. You know what? I want to ask you this.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get into this.
Yeah, go ahead.
For you, who would you say is your personal inspiration? Whom do you want to make proud at the end of the day? Who do you want to stick their head in through the door and be like, hey, what's this? What event is this? Oh, nice. Sweet. Who did this? I know them. That's awesome. Or maybe they don't know you. Maybe they're just like, oh, wow, they're very impressed. Who would that person be?
That's a really good question.
Thank you. I thought of it myself.
Amazing.
My ego just raised its profile a little bit.
That's awesome.
Sorry about that. Okay, please go ahead.
I'm like,
Yeah.
That's a really good question. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people I look up to that I see as, I feel like Satyan Raja for sure. I look up to him. I see him as a mentor. Oprah.
Oprah.
I love Oprah.
She's a good one.
She's a
If
good
you're gonna
one.
pick someone, gotta pick one of the most successful females of all time.
Right?
Ever.
God,
And,
she's
like,
just amazing.
I can't believe
love
I can
her.
actually say this, but like in anything. Like in anything.
Absolutely.
Right?
Like in anything.
In anything. It's awesome.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oprah pokes her head in. She's like, what's going on? What's her guy's
Yeah.
name? That always her like
Stedman.
Stedman.
Stedman's like
I
holding
like
her
that
bags or
nobody
something.
knows his like first name. It's like
Stedman.
Stedman.
Stedman Winfrey.
You're like, no one knows. Is that not his first name?
Stedman Winfrey, I'm pretty sure his name is.
Yeah, Winfrey.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No.
Except Oprah's against marriage, though. She's not. Well, not against it, but she's just not into getting married.
Because you have to split up that pie. That's why. You know what?
Right.
That's a big pie to split up. She'd be like, first of all, I saw what you guys did to Mel Gibson. She's like, I'm
I
not
don't even
going
know
to
what
lose.
happened to Mel Gibson.
Oh, he lost everything.
Oh,
so.
did he?
Also, Stedman, you didn't contribute anything.
Yeah.
So.
Also, he was
Okay.
racist. So, yeah. Stedman
There's
didn't-
always that minor point.
They're like, well, let's just.
Yeah, I've been here. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the big deal?
I'm present.
It'll look like that scene with Scrooge McDuck just jumping into a vault of money. That's like her.
He's like, I put the prizes under the seats, Oprah. Come on.
Everyone gets a car. Yeah.
He's like, I put those keys there.
What kind of prizes?
Stedman.
What kind of prizes can we look forward to at the Awaken Man?
Cars.
May 15th, 2016.
May 15, 2016. So surprises is, so it's going to be 2 tickets to the Half Moon Retreat Center.
Right?
Which is awesome. Like they were just renovating, so it's a gorgeous place.
Sweet.
And what else? And also, there's going to be some complimentary gift floats from the Float House.
Float House.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
What's that podcast code?
That makes us like kind of.
That's going to be awesome.
That makes us like cousins, kind of in a way, right?
Right?
Doesn't it? Because we're.
Yeah, it like connects us. It's that interconnection.
That's right.
For sure.
Is that what that is? Cousins?
Cousin? I don't know.
Hey, cousins.
Sponsor cousins. Hey. Spokos.
Hey,
yeah.
Spoko.
Nice, Mark. Nice. Spoko. What were you saying before I cut you off? Sorry. You had a little something to say? No, it's okay. Anyway.
What was that podcast code?
Oh, the podcast goes I podcast. That's right. See, I tagged that on. Nice one, Mike.
That's
There
good.
you go.
Nice one.
Should just say
Good
it this
job.
time.
Good
Just say
job.
Swish.
All right. You know what? Time flies when you're being
It flies
completely
really
enlightened.
fast. No kidding.
No
kidding.
I'm actually like super stoked. I would like you to come
Yeah,
back on.
This
in
is
the
a
near
delightful
Sure,
podcast.
I'd love to come back
Absolutely
on.
delightful.
This
I'd
is-
love to come back on.
I gotta tell you, it's really nice to actually just kind of chat and not have to be so focused on like snapping jokes with people. all the
No
time. Like,
kidding.
it's nice
I
just
feel
to chat.
so
Yeah.
relaxed, like,
Yeah.
honestly, with you guys.
And it was still pretty funny, actually. Which is
It
kinda
totally
funny,
is.
Yeah.
I love it.
Let's just cover this again real quick. If you guys want to check out this great event we've been talking about all evening on this show with Sonali Perera.
Yeah.
That's how you say it. And
That's how you say
that's how
it.
you say it. You want to go to the Diamond Ballroom, the 5th floor in Vancouver, British Columbia on Sunday, May 15th, 2016. It's amazing. You know what? There's a great early bird special. Is early bird still effective?
Yeah,
Okay.
still available.
Great early bird in there. $77 for those tickets. A limited time offer. You want to go to theawakenman.org. That's where you want to check this out. How can people follow you online personally, Sonali?
They can just follow me on Facebook, and so I also have Instagram. So they just
What's your Instagram? Tell us right now.
it's inner power. So it's inner.power,
Nice.
and so that's going to be like
I'm going to add you right now.
Yeah, add me right now.
If you're listening right now, you should do the same.
Absolutely. Add me on Instagram, add me on Facebook. You can find me at Sonali L. Perera. And you can follow all the cool updates for the Awakened Man. And coming soon is the Awakened Woman.
Turns out I'm already following
Oh,
you.
are you? Perfect. Great.
I was like, following? Oh, okay.
You're like, wait a minute, I'm already following. Okay.
I only follow the best. There you go.
Beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, yeah. That's awesome. Do we get all the points? Do we put all the spellings?
I think
we
we've
nailed
got
it.
some
Yep.
really,
We
really
nailed
good
it.
points.
All right.
Yeah. It's really exciting.
If you guys want to follow the podcast, we really appreciate all the new followers out there. We're getting a lot of feedback every week. We really appreciate everyone who's listening. You want to check out Intergalactic Interviews if this is your first time checking out. Lots of back episodes. This is episode 87. I said at the beginning.
87.
Thank you, Michael. 87, and it's a nice, huge catalog back there of great episodes, great entertainment. And if you want to check this one out and future ones, you can also go to intergalacticinterviews.com. It's on Instagram as Intergalactic Interviews. It's on Facebook as Intergalactic Interviews. It's everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to us on iTunes, and we'll be on Stitcher maybe by
Stitcher,
the time you hear this.
TuneIn, a bunch of
TuneIn.
random places.
Thank you, Michael,
Nice.
for handling all that stuff. And and if people want to follow you, Mike, how can they follow you?
Follow me at the Saavedra on Twitter or Michael A. Saavedra on Instagram, and you can see pictures of my cats.
Your cats are sweet.
Beautiful.
Seaster in Meester. Yeah. And just going to throw this to C-Mart real quick here. Just want to ask him real quick because he's so contributing to this. Here we go. C-Mart, yeah. Oh, by the way, I've noticed on the YouTube videos that we've been putting up frequently since since we got the capability to do so. Just want to say that every time I do this part, it only focuses on my reaction. But I'll describe it for you. Okay, so C-Mart, how can people... no? Okay, people, no, don't follow him. Okay, don't want to follow him. Says don't follow him. There you go. All right, and if you want to follow me, you can follow me personally at MD_Boomsday. That's MD_Boomsday at Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, you name it, we're there. Sonali, you're amazing. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank
please
you
go
so
check out
much.
The
Thank
Awakened
you.
Man. We really hope you come back. You're official friend of the show.
Awesome.
Official right now.
Friend of the
Thank
show.
you.
Friend of the show.
Yay. Family.
We love you guys so much. We're booked solid for the next 19 million weeks. So if you
No
guys
way.
want to check out the lineup, it's going to be awesome. And we appreciate you guys. Why don't you say goodbye to these folks? Say goodbye.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Mwah.
Later.
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 Boom.